Hello, fellow comic book lovers, collectors, and aficionados. Vin Crew here with his recap of the year 2017, and just real similar sentiments to KMN. You never realize how humbling it is. You think you're collecting all these killer books throughout the year, and then when you see everyone else's recap videos, it really kind of puts you into your spot there. I'm still very, very happy with all these books that I got, but compared to some of you guys, holy cow. Yeah, it's just, but still, this isn't a competition. Granted, I love all those books, but still, I pick them up when I can and how I can and that sort of a thing. And everybody does that, So, and it's just awesome to see everybody getting their killer books. It's what keeps my blood going as far as collecting too. So, as I did last year, I'm going to break this up into two vids. The first one, this one will be on my Marvel and DC, and then the second vid will be on independence and variants, that sort of thing. Not all the there's going to be about 25 books on each, give or take one or two on either way, and not all of them are going to be expensive books. They're going to have some sentimental value, that sort of a thing, which make them just as important as the value is to me. For example, this one here, Thor 225. Been really wanting to upgrade this one for quite a while, and just never really did it. But Firelord is probably one of my favorite characters that isn't of the big ones, But Jeff, there's something about Firelord I've always really liked. I don't know if you can call him more. I don't know if he's a hero or a villain or what you would call him, but even an anti-hero, I guess. I don't know, but there's just something about Firelord. That two-issue Spidey in Amazing Spider-Man, I can't remember, I think it's like 269 and 270 or something like that, where he's fighting Firelord. It's just one of my favorite all-time Spider-Man stories. So in order for me to upgrade this was really a nice little thing for the year. These next two books, this one here, Showcase 29, is it, I think? Regardless, it's the first Metal Men. This would be higher on the list, except for the condition of the book. There's a tape pull right there. I'm still very happy to have this. Enjoyed Metal Men when I was a kid back in the 70s. Just never was a group that caught on and really went anywhere, but it's still a great nostalgia book and just fun key book. It's not a major key by any means, but just a fun key book to have nonetheless. This is another one. This would have maybe went a little bit higher. These are in no particular order, really. I mean, it's not from least to best or whatever, but this one probably would have been a little higher up on the list except for the condition. Strange Tales 111, second appearance of Doctor Strange. This book has cooled off substantially since the movie has been out for a while, which is always the case. I still got this at a really good deal. I think was it Sunshine Collects Things or something who I actually bought this from. But anyways, whoever I bought it from, thank you if you watch my stuff. So this here one, Tales of Suspense 58, excuse me, 58. This is where Captain America appears in Tales of Suspense for the first time. And then the next issue, 59, is where he starts to co-headline the book. So, and it's just a great cover. I just really like this cover. Obviously, it was this was done in the Civil War movie. So, next one, Night Nurse number 4. Just very happy to be part of the Night Nurse family. It's a book that's always on my list, but one I just don't see very often. And when I'm looking on eBay, it's just one I really don't think of unless I see somebody else post it on one of their things. But it's definitely on my list. I would love a number 1. Number 1 and 4 are the two books I believe are the ones you really want to have. I think 4 has a very low print run. So it's the last book out of the mini-series. So this one would have went higher also, but once again, the condition on this book, there's some creases right down the book right there. But this is Superman 127, the first appearance of Congarella. For some reason, this book really commands somewhat of a premium compared to some of his other B-list villains. But Congarella's been around for quite some time. It's funny how DC has all these gorilla villains in their things there. It's kind of funny. Batman 156. I could have picked really any of the Batmans from 144 and through one whatever it was that I needed to pick up, but this one was probably the favorite cover of mine. It's been homage. There's a first appearance of this. I can't remember who it is. Ron something, I think his name is. I can't remember, but first appearance is in this book. Just a great cover. Really starting to see this in a lot of people's vids, or not vids, but in that CBSI Hall section. I see this book pop up quite a bit and people commenting on quite a bit, so happy. And then this is just one of the books that I ended up purchasing that completed my run finally from 144 until it ends, which is the first 12-cent issue of Batman until it ends. And then this one here would be another one. This is 125. So this is now this is my next goal, is to try to get from 125 to until it ends. Need quite a few of those to make that happen. 139. If anybody has a 139, a Batman 139, they wouldn't mind parting with for cash or trade or combination of the both, please hit me up. Shazam 28. First current Black Bolt, and I'm happy I got it. Is it a great book? Is it worth what I think it is? No. It's going to tank eventually, but happy to have it at this point. Another book I think is going to tank after the movie is this book right here. I don't get the hubbub for it, but don't get me wrong, it's on this list, so I'm obviously happy I got this. The first appearance of Mira, but I don't get the hype. I really don't. It's you know, Mira, really? Okay. But anyway, first appearance of Mira, Silver Age Aquaman, number 11. Very happy to have him. So, moving along. Next one here is Fantastic Four, number 26. This is part 2 of the Avengers Fantastic Four crossover. And third time, I think. Is it third time maybe that the Hulk and thing meet? I don't know. Don't quote me on that one. I know the first time is in a Fantastic Four 12. So, and then 25 they meet. But I don't know if they meet any time before that in the Avengers or something like that. But still, nonetheless, I love this cover too, where they're fighting on this this building that's being constructed. It's still pretty cool. And then the next one would be Fantastic Four, number 20, the first appearance of the Molecule Man. Like I said, when I picked this book up, I've always liked Molecule Man. I don't spec on villains all too often, and I'm not specking on this book. But I just enjoy the villain, especially in Secret Society, the Superhero Secret Wars. Not Secret Society, but the Superhero Secret Wars, that maxi series. I enjoyed him in there. So, yeah. Very happy to have it. You know, it's an early issue of Fantastic Four, so got to hit my Fantastic Fours a little harder. This one here, Sandman number 1. It's Jack King Kirby, but why I'm very happy about this book is that this is the Purple Error version. Technically, this should have been in my other video, I guess. I don't know. But it's the Purple Error version of Sandman 1. Very hard to get this book. The other version is blue, and the ink quality is purple on this one here. So ETA Nick is showing this. I think Gotham City is showing this, and a few other people. So very happy to have this. I love the error books and that sort of a thing. All right. All-Star Western number 10, first appearance of Jonah Hex. Been wanting this book for quite some time, so the ability to pick this up was really pretty cool. You know, Jonah Hex, they've tried to bring him into the, you know, the small and big screens to no real big success. But he's a great character, and very, very happy to have this in my collection. This one I recently picked up, Teen Titans #2. This is my second copy of this book. So first appearance of Deathstroke. This book I am very bullish on. This book here, I cannot speak enough about this book. I think that the sky's the limit on this book. I really, really do. Even without movie and TV spec and all of that, I still think the fan base of Deathstroke is just no question about it. And this book here will be one of the better books in the Bronze Age to have in your collection. I guess this one could have shown up in the next video too, but this is Superman 75, The Death of Superman, the Platinum version, limited to 10,000. This just showed up. You know what's funny is when I showed this, you know, I tape Comic Book Men and I watch it a little bit later, but I think it showed up in the episode after I bought this book on Comic Book Men. So I don't know. I must have had some kind of premonition or something to buy this book. But this book here, you know, it brings me back to the 90s where everything was wrong about comics, but everything was great at the same time. Kind of like it is now. I mean, everything was being thrown out there. Everybody was specking on everything, you know, but this book here, you cannot deny what The Death of Superman and The Breaking of Batman's Back, those two did for comics back in the 90s. I mean, that created media sensation like you wouldn't believe. And so this was the book you wanted with The Death of Superman, was the Platinum. So very, very happy to have that. X-Men #9. This is an appropriate book to show now that Marvel looks like they've taken back the X franchise. So who knows? People are looking at this book as something to look at for the future. But the first time the X-Men and the Avengers team up together or meet is in this book right here. X-Men #9. It's single-digit X-Men, which is all the better. And then X-Men #6, the first time Submariner shows up in an X book, as well as the first time that the Submariner is called a mutant or is deemed a mutant. And once again, an early single-digit X-Men. So with those two books and the books, the other X books I picked up over the year, I'm just now down to needing 3 issues to complete the Uncanny X-Men Volume 1. I need issues 1, 2, and 3. 2 and 3 are on my hit list. We'll see if I can get either of those. Green Lantern #5. Hector, first appearance of Hector Hammond. He was the villain that was in the Ryan Reynolds movie. Single digit Green Lantern. And then the Green Lantern I'm the most happiest that I picked up is #7, the first appearance of Sinestro. This is a villain I would highly spec on too. There's very, very few villains I really spec on. This would be one of those. And Sinestro was just one of those characters that just permeates all of the DC universe. And I think that once and if he is done right in the DC cinematic universe, I don't know. I don't see a lot of limit to this book here. So, yeah, Green Lantern #7. And now with those 2 books and the other books that I purchased, all I need is Green Lantern #1 of the original second series here, excuse me, the Hal Jordan series. So, very happy about that. Now we're getting down to the really good ones here as far as I'm concerned. Brave and Bold #54. Arguably the first appearance of the Teen Titans. I'm kind of in the camp that 60, is it 60? The one with the first appearance of Donna Troy, and they actually go by Teen Titans, is probably their first appearance. But nonetheless, this is deemed as their first appearance by the public, and I'm not going to argue with it. I've got my bases covered because I have issue number 60, but this is a very expensive book these days with the new Teen Titan TV show coming out. I think that's going to be done very well because it's going to be the not the flagship, but the test series of the DC streaming service. So I would imagine they want to come out with a bang and make it a good one. So who knows? I'm very, very happy to finally have this in my collection. I have been wanting that one for God knows since 2012 when I started collecting again this time around. So another villain I'm very bullish on is this one right here, Kraven the Hunter. This is, oh, and speaking of that, let's see if I can find it again. Yeah, this is the first appearance of Kraven the Hunter, is in Amazing Spider-Man 15. This is the second appearance. I forgot to mention that, too. His second appearance is in this book. All right, but Kraven the Hunter, he's one of my personal, he's probably my favorite Amazing Spider-Man villain. I do like him better than Green Goblin. This has been a book I have wanted for probably 2 years, maybe now. Maybe 3 years. I mean, I've wanted it, don't get me wrong, I've wanted it for since I've been collecting comics, but just really came onto the radar hard for me in the last 3 years. So very happy and very fortunate that I was able to pick this up. Kraven's Last Stand is one of my favorite Spider-Man reads. So yeah. And then if I have Kraven the Hunter, and as I mentioned, he is more of a favorite to me than this one, but this is number 14. This is the first appearance of Green Goblin. Early Hulk. Is this the first time Hulk is in a Spider-Man story, I believe? And you can't argue about this book where it falls in the mythos of Amazing Spider-Man and just Marvel Comics as in general. This is this term is thrown around so often that I use it hesitantly, but to a lot of people this would be a holy grail book. I did not think I would ever be able to afford this book. It just happened to fall into my lap this last fall con at a price I could afford, and decided to pull the trigger. So I am very, very happy that I made that choice and decision. So this is probably my number 2 best book. Number 1 would have to be this book right here, Captain Britain number 8. This is the first appearance of Betsy Braddock, and it's to me this has been a book I have wanted since I started watching Mercenaut videos back in 2012 and in 2013, and just this book was on his dream list, and you know, then she went into the Age of Apocalypse movie, and I forget that. I wasn't ever going to think I was ever going to get the book, but I ended up being in a bidding war with Zach, Master X Splinter, and I was fortunate enough to have a couple more pennies in my pocket than he did, and was able to acquire this book. So very, very happy to have the first Betsy Braddock, who later becomes Psylocke, and this would be my favorite book of my pickups this year. As far as Marvel and DC. And then one other book, this one is just more sentimental than anything too, I picked up a lot of treasuries this year, and probably this one was my favorite. As I mentioned, when I bought this book, I already own this book, but my copy was an original that my father bought me back when I was a kid back in the 70s. This came out in, what, 76, I think, or something. Bought it off the rack and read the heck out of it. The covers popped on part of it, and it's just beat, but it's still something I'll never get rid of. So when I was fortunate enough to find this at a reasonable price and to upgrade it, I was very, very happy to do so. And it also this signifies too that I really hit hard on my treasuries. It's always been something I love to collect, was the treasuries. I'm very happy with my Treasury collection right now. I'm only missing the non-superhero Treasuries for the original 70s and 80s Treasuries. If I get those, that will make me very happy, but if I don't, I can definitely live with it. Very, very happy with my Treasury collection. So these are my Marvel and DC books. Look for part 2. If I'm not sure when I'm going to post these, if I'm going to do a haul vid, but if I post this before the haul video, I hope that everybody had a great and safe and happy and prosperous New Year's. I hope 2017 was great to you guys. You know, I was very fortunate. Another factor that probably affected my ability to pick up some bigger books was the fact that I moved into a new house this year, or last year, excuse me, and had to build my man cave from literally the floor and the walls up. So that took quite a chunk of money out of my bank account. But yeah, it is what it is. And like I said, I'm very happy with the books that I picked up for this year. I have an aggressive, or last year, I have an aggressive list for this year. We'll see how many of those, if any, I can get this year. And I just want to congratulate everyone on their pickups for this year. There's been some killer scores, and anytime anybody can get a book that they wanted, it's great. It's so much fun to watch people's reactions and listen to them. So, but I'm rambling now. Look for part 2. Vin Crew signing off. Thank you very much.